is up, beats and viewers? My name is Kiss, and today I'm reacting to the LGBTQ dream in gaming ruined. Bayonetta creator cancels Gayness. Why would there be? Bayonetta's a straight Chad. Like, don't get me wrong, there's a place for LGBT in certain games, but not Bayonetta. Let's not make her gay. No, don't do that. She's sassy. She encompasses the fan service of it all, and it shouldn't be. She shouldn't be turned into a lesbian. But yes, by Wagner Knows Why. So let's react to.
Make everything, the perverted need to make everything gay coded. That's what
Not
we're
the
seeing
perverted.
right now in the video gaming industry with a lot of the characters that have been coming from classic franchises, where what's seemingly known as friendship between girls now has to be lesbian coded. And this is what we saw specifically happening with
Not
Bayonetta.
Jean.
It was a trend that was stretching out all throughout the gaming industry.
The banter between them it gives friendship. It gives sister bond. It gives, yeah. And especially the quips that they have with each other talking about men, like, it's great. It's great.
And frustrating a lot of fans that just want to play the game for what it is, and frustrating the creators of these games, who are growing increasingly annoyed by the American ideal of making everything an LGBTQ representative icon. And I think
although
that's
that was cute.
Right now
That was cute though. I did like Violet and Clementine.
Bayonetta and its creator,
But I like Louis.
where he
I like
lashed out
Louis more.
against the fans recently, saying, "What are you talking about? This character is not in this way. They're not a lesbian coded character. In fact, they have a family," and that is just throwing a lot of fans into a rage. And it kind of brings up the idea of what we've been seeing in the gaming industry these past few years.
Those aren't fans.
Fans have been increasingly trying to take over many projects, many things that have come out as just plain old fan service type of games, and I'm trying to remove the male gaze element because they see that as destructive. And
once you remove the male gaze element, that's it. The game is over. That's what made it stand out. What are you talking about? She literally had her outfit sliced and she was moaning. Come on, man.
And the hypocrisy of turning that male gaze element
within the first 5 minutes.
Female oriented. And this is what we've seen with Bayonetta these past few years, to the frustration of a lot of the people within the fan base for these games. And I think that is the thing that we see at the basis for a lot of things in the gaming industry today, where it's become overly politicized, where people that may not even be fans of the game don't like the success that these games are having. We can see this happening with Bayonetta back in the 2014 era with Gamergate, where it was a political talking point for some of the Gamergate leads like it.
And it's crazy because, sorry to pause while he's talking, but it's crazy because now she's trying to backpedal Miss Anita Dick. Now she's trying to backpedal and say, oh, you know, we're all for these spaces, protect gaming, this, that, and the third. Girl, bye. We know what you're about.
Anita Scarsesian, who came out criticizing the game for its over-sexualization of women, having this character in many skimpy outfits, trying to
and now she's saying sex should be in games, this, that, and the third.
The male gaze. And I think this is part and parcel of what we've been seeing all throughout gaming, where these characters that have been successful with a large demographic of the male audience, because gaming is a male-oriented hobby, so you're going to have more topics, more games that look like this, and people that are foreign to gaming, like many of the activists that report and criticize gamers for liking these characters, are going to be offended by them. And I think that's what we saw with a lot of the people back in the Gamergate 1 era, back in the 2014, 15, 16 era, where they were trying to attack gaming for these certain elements. And I think that's what we saw with a lot of the commentary surrounding Bayonetta, where they were flat out criticizing the game rather than praising it. And I think that switch from criticism to praise mainly came from actually this queer-coded messaging that they forcefully imposed it onto the gaming audience. And I think that's what happened with Bayonetta, because they saw the popularity wasn't going away, the creators weren't changing anything about the game. So rather than give up...
We saw the third game became a bit tame, though. You know, well, they made a good excuse, basically saying that it was Little Cereza. So, I mean, I guess, but...
on this game,
they played
it seems like
safe.
a tactic for a lot of these activists within the gaming industry is to queer code these characters. And if you don't know what queer coding means, it means giving a character traits and behavior that suggest they are not heterosexual or straight without the character being outright confirmed of this queer act.
Ursula literally wanted to marry a man. She wanted to take Ariel's identity and she wanted to marry a man, like her man. I mean, she may look like one, but she's not.
Identity
I don't think
or
so.
LGBTQ identity. They take a lot of characters like this. You see
Mufasa looks spicy, but that's it.
them presenting Disney characters, and this is mostly fan fiction in the mind of the people that are watching it. It's not anything that is really intended by the creator, and that's what we're seeing. That's what happened with Bayonetta. It was turned into a queer-coded game where it's now acceptable for her to do all these sexualized things because now it's oriented to a female audience. And I think that's the exact thing that we saw with so many characters that have been criticized in a similar way, because it's just not only Bayonetta that was criticized in this way. All female protagonists that have these sort of skimpy and attractive appeals
That's
about
what made
them.
it
You can go
Bayonetta.
back into gaming history, you can see all the same controversies applied here. We saw this with Lara Croft in Tomb Raider, where she was criticized for being a misogynistic design female
Then they
character
ruined
for
her.
male gaze before she was made into a pioneering lesbian icon. The same thing happened with Bayonetta, consequently, where the same tactic was used, where people were criticizing it until it was turned into a lesbian icon. That is now the standard along with Lara Croft. Same thing happened with Nier Automata. This was criticized incessantly for being something that is attracting the male audience, that is disrespecting women, but now it's held in the same atmosphere as Lara Croft and Bayonetta because now she is a queer icon. Same thing is now currently happening with Stellar Blade, where she's being criticized for being too attractive, and we all know the cycle is going to happen again, where she's going to be put in the ranks with all these other feminist icons because she's queer coded now.
I don't think so. Is that what it is? Because I don't see these characters changing except for Tomb Raider.
I think that is the thing that we keep seeing in the gaming world. And I think that perspective is lending itself here with Bayonetta, where we have this attraction to change the characterizations of these characters. And I think never before with the other games that I mentioned, we never saw the creator come out and flat out denounce them for doing this. But now we have that with Bayonetta's creator, where he came out and said, "What are you talking about? This character is married and has a family. I don't know what you're talking about. The queer code in this, how I took away your lesbian characters, or never lesbian. This is not the case at all." And this is coming from the horse's mouth, Hideki Kamiya, who created the Bayonetta character, who still owns rights on this character. So this is a definitive and declarative statement. If
Good.
it wasn't already clear enough, they already released a picture for a holiday season of this character where they were actually with their family, where she's
Good, 'cause what are we
married
talking
to
about?
a male character that is in the game that she has a friendship with, and she has a child. This even caused controversy back when it was released, where people were saying, "No, this is not good. This is terrible for the character. She's supposed to be queer coded." And it kind of brings up this possessiveness that we're seeing from people that are not necessarily even into gaming, because I think the fans of this Bayonetta version that is queer coded,
Yeah, thank you for saying that. They're not into games. They just want to turn everything gay and ugly, okay?
and play the games. I think more than anything, they're into the art of the games, and I think that's what we're seeing right now, with people who are complaining about this non-queer
Oh,
codedness
goodness,
are
look at
people
this
that
girl.
actually
Look at her. Look, you could just tell. There's a subtle but important distinction between empowering sexuality and the male gaze. Shut the fuck up.
gaming in general. They're not playing games. It's just like that gamers are enjoying themselves and these certain characters, and they want to capture them. They want to own them and transform their overall symbology about these games. And I
'Cause
think
they're
that's what we're seeing
narcissistic
with
as
complaints
fuck.
for this right now, where people are complaining about.
No one. Here's my thing. I think it's projection. No one wants them in real life. So they have to project their fetishes onto fictional characters to appease their. I don't know. Their nonsense.
This, but they're not even playing the game. They're not even the people that are purchasing these games. And I think that is the thing that we're
To
seeing
appease their fantasy.
right now with gaming, where the people that do not even play the games want to have full and full control and influence of the story and makeup of the games that are coming out right now. And I think that is the thing that's harming the industry right now. That's what we saw at the beginning of Gamergate. This is what we're seeing with Gamergate 2, where people that actually do not even like gaming want to control and change the gaming environment in its entirety. And I think that is the reflective thing that we're seeing right now with the complaints with gaming for the past few years. Even when you look at the details of Bayonetta, you realize the person that is creating the art and design for the character is a female artist, a talented female artist named Mari
Well done.
Shimazaki, who's the
Well
illustrator
done.
known for designing the main cast for Bayonetta and other titles that have come out. And I think this is the ignorance that we keep seeing with the people complaining about these design choices in art. I know Stellar Blade has a similar female artist that is the main core artist and
That's right.
illustrator for her design. So it's just kind of this constant neglect and ignorance of American developers, American activists that are trying to change a culture they have no understanding of, that they just mostly feel offensive with because they're not included in it. And I think that's the thing that we're seeing right now with Bayonetta, where people are mad at the creator for saying this, but they're not even playing the video games that are coming out or even care about the characters themselves and the stories inside the game. They're more in line with the fashion of the character that was created by female artists for the most part. So it's kind of this dizzying thing where there's a possessiveness over something that they have no inclusion in. I think this is the thing that we keep seeing persistent in male hobbies for these past few years. That's why I'm talking
Word.
about this subject specifically, because we keep seeing this insistence of controlling what male hobbyists are into, where we see this happening with Warhammer, where they're forcing DEI elements into the game, and it's predominantly female activists that are driving these goals for diversity, equity, inclusion, and feminist elements into a
Henry,
role-playing
where are you?
tabletop game that is mostly male focused. And it's kind of this urge to actually control the environment that a lot of male hobbyists are in that they have no control over. I think this is the element that we keep seeing pervasive in the gaming industry and entertainment in its whole, because there's a level of influence within these properties, within these environments. The male hobbyist environment is where a lot of ideas are developed, cultivated,
right.
and create a community that is viable outside of the hobbyist environment. And that's why I think that's important to these activists to actually delve into these areas and capture the icons within these areas, like a Bayonetta, like a Stellar Blade, like a Warhammer, like a Lord of the Rings, a Doctor Who, a Marvel.
'Cause it's a win
wanna
for them.
control these entities because they mean more than what they mean for the male hobbyists. And I think that's what we're seeing right now, an actual
It's a
attempt to
definite
remove
win
these
for
elements
them.
from gaming that are actually appealing, that develop a culture for the hobbyists. And I think for the gamer themselves, we stand to prove that we actually have influence in the real world from what we saw from Gamergate, because a whole election cycle was transformed because of gamers. I know people that don't understand what happened during Gamergate. A lot of people were influenced to actually push for the president because of Gamergate. And I think that is the thing that we saw here with the people within that campaign themselves saying that they use gamers to actually push their messaging. And I think that has infused a lot of other organizations to think, okay, we got to push even further to control these hobbyist locations where men gather. And I think that's the thing that we're seeing right now, where they want to remove these characters, and this is just like a small part, but they want to remove these elements that are reflective of the male hobbyist. And I think video gaming has the largest male hobbyist fan base, and I think that's the thing that they're aiming for, to remove the things that we actually enjoy and love and that cultivate a community of gamers that may have different views from society. And I think that is the thing that we're seeing play out right now. This anger over gamers losing this part of the culture is what we're seeing a reaction to online from
Oh, well.
activists that are angry about this. And I think this is the eventual thing that we're going to see with a lot of video games that do not follow in the modern political agenda that is being put out there. And that agenda is whatever they want it to be. And it seems like anti-male gamer and just basically...
And it just seems to me that it's an act of submission. It's like to get us to submit, to make men cucks. And I'm not sure if that's a word you can use on YouTube, but it's turn us into second-class citizens. Our opinions don't matter, and this, that, and a third, and just to weigh you down even further. If you can weaken the man, you can weaken the system. And I think it's just a deeper meaning of it all. So they're coming for gaming because that's our major hobby there. if you can weaken a man, you can break a system. You can break a country. That's how I feel. That's my perception on these things. But you know,
Anti-fun. I think that's what we see with them going after games on Steam. They're trying
like
to
I'm over here like tinfoil hat on. It's like an attack on from the inside.
eliminate adult games that are oriented towards men. They're trying to eliminate even the digital model Annie that was made. They're trying to ban that. And it's just a full force attack against anything that may actually develop a male community fan base, because for them, probably men gathering together is the most dangerous thing in their mind. And I think that's what they're seeing right now with these certain characters. Maybe I'm overthinking it. I don't think so. But I think that is the core element that I'm seeing develop here. But that's just my thoughts on the situation. Maybe you disagree with me. You tell
I
me what you
agree.
think.
I agree.
Bayonetta, no more lesbians from the owner, which I think is a reason.
Is Viola a lesbian? Is she? Like I said, I have no problems with lesbians. I just don't make them ugly. You know what I'm saying?
Reasonable thing. I'm tired of seeing those type of character stereotypes. We see them everywhere in gaming.
Very
It's nice to see a
manly,
creator
yeah.
actually step out and say, "Hey, this is not the game. We're not gonna go for it." And I wish more creators would do the same thing, so they can push out these elements from the gaming world, and we can just have this hobbyist community that actually likes video games. But that is just
I agree. I agree. I agree. Wagner knows why. I like his stuff. Let me know what you think about this video down in the comments below. Let me know what other gaming videos you'd like to react to. Like, subscribe if you vibe from YouTube today. And we'll see you guys on live streams eventually. I think I'm going to come back with Silent Hill 2. Finish that up so I can continue on with Silent Hill F. Alright, y'all. Thank you for stopping by. I'll talk to you later.